So if any of y'all have issues with recording, I apologize. If you want to turn your camera off, I'm fine. Hey, Claudia, welcome. So, and that will probably continue. Thank you, Bob. I will see how we proceed here. I wanted to see what different years of people we had here, and you don't have to say the years, but we're going to see who had what director. If I can figure out how to do a poll. I used to know how to do a poll. I don't know why I'm not seeing it now. Any other Zoom experts, let me know if you know how to do a poll. I've done it before, I'm just not seeing where it's supposed to be. Awesome. All right, well, we can do it without the poll. I'll just put it, those of you that are familiar enough with the chat, I can put this sort of question in the chat. I'm going to put a list of different directors, and I think this is comprehensive back to Max Noah, but I'm not totally sure. So if you sang with someone that's not on my list, you should let me know, because I'm trying to make this little history. So here's the list of people. And if you sang with multiple people, you could comment that as well. We have a number of folks registered, like 20 some odd, and then, oh, awesome, Julie Morgan, yay. And other people that may come in that didn't register, which is totally awesome. I hope that they will. But if we end up getting, more than one screen worth, I may put us in breakout rooms with people that were there around the same time or that had the same director, because I think that's always fun to catch up with folks. Yes, thank you, Haley and Robin. So, anywho, and I will start the slideshow in just a minute. We're also waiting. I'm hoping that we'll have Martin Biddick here, and I'm hoping also that we will have Clyde Tipton here. So that is my hope that it worked out, but we'll see. But in the meantime, let's go around the Zoom, and if you could introduce yourself and tell us, well, I'll start. I'm Jennifer Flory. I've been at Georgia College since 2005, and yeah, I have directed a good number of the choirs. There's a little Ian behind me. No, not right now. Sorry. I got to do this, okay? So, awesome. Sorry, I lost my train. Okay, so who you are, where you live, maybe, and if you would like to tell us the year you graduated from Georgia College, or the year you sang in choir, that's great, or the year you taught at Georgia College, years you taught, and maybe your favorite choral experience that you had at Georgia College. And I know that might take a minute, so how about Dr. GM, would you mind going first? Because you won't have quite as much of the information you'll have to give, but that would be great.
I'm Dana Gorzolani Mostak, and I'm not an alum of Georgia College, but I started teaching there in 2015, so I'm going into my 6th year now. And I've directed the women's ensemble. I want to say it's 10 semesters.
Since 2016, minus 1 semester, I think.
Minus 2 semesters. So I didn't do fall 2015, right. And I did Max Noah 1 semester. So that's I think that's right. I guess it'd be 9 so far.
Awesome. And maybe Carlton, you could go next. Is Carlton still here?
Sure, absolutely.
There we are.
First of all, let me say, Jennifer, that it comes as no surprise that you're in Georgia and having trouble with the poll. Just, oh, too soon. Sorry. My name's Carlton Monroe. I was director of choral activities for 2 years, just prior to Jennifer arriving, and it was, so that would have been 2013 3 and 4, I think. You said 2005 was when you came, so.
I think it was maybe 2002 to 2004.
That's right. That's right.
Because we had
Yeah.
an interim in between.
That's right. Yeah. And I live in Cincinnati. I left Georgia College to, my wife got a wonderful job here in Cincinnati, and so we moved back here. And I've taught here in a couple of different places, and now I'm the director of music at an Episcopal church here in Cincinnati. And my favorite choral memory was on tour with the Max Noah Singers, and a student driver of one of the vans dropped the keys in an elevator down like through the slot, and I had to stay up the entire night trying to get an elevator technician to come retrieve the keys. So that's what I remember.
That's horrible. But that's okay. Yeah, and just sort of as an aside, Carlton and I also went to grad school together. He was finishing his doctorate when I was starting my master's, so we didn't, I don't know, we may have had one class together. Yeah, like a summer seminar or something like that.
Absolutely.
But when I applied for the job and then got invited to interview, I called him and I just sort of said, I want to pick your brain. And I took notes, and he told me all about all of the faculty, none of whom are still here, by the way. They're all either have left or retired or whatever.
Right.
And so I still have those notes in my file. I
No
was going
kidding.
through my files like a
You
year.
might need to destroy those for me.
It was a good conversation, and yeah. So anyway, all right. Well, how about Kathy? I'm just going to call the order of my windows. So Kathy O, please.
My name is, excuse me, my name is Kathy O. Dillon. I graduated from Georgia College with a music education degree in 1972. I sang under Mr. Biddick for 2 years, and then Clyde Tipton for 2 years. I taught elementary school music for 35 years and retired several years ago. And my most, the memory that I can think of the most as far as my choral experience, I mean, I was in the Aeolian Singers, but the thing that I remember the most is Mr. Biddick would take us on tour, and we went to New York City my freshman year and my sophomore year before he left. We went to Europe. We went to London, Amsterdam, Paris, and drove through Brussels. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. That's awesome. Haley, how about you?
Sure. Hi, I'm Haley Oliver. I graduated from GCSU in 2019. And what else? What else did you want us to say?
Maybe your favorite memory. You sang under me. I don't know if you ever sang under anybody else, but
Yeah, I was with Dr. Flory in University Chorus for probably 6 or 7 semesters. I think my favorite memory of being in UC was probably the Christmas concerts or the winter concerts, because we would have pretty much an all-day rehearsal. We'd have this really long thing where we would pack the entire music department into the same space, and kind of just anytime that we weren't on stage performing, we were hanging out in the back. And it was just a really fun time. Those were my favorite experiences.
thank you, Haley. Stephen, how about you?
Hello, I am Stephen Hall. I graduated from Georgia College in 1989 with a music ed degree. I taught public school music for 6 years and quit. I now work as a data center manager for a dental insurance company. I live in Marietta, Georgia, just northwest of Atlanta. And I guess my favorite memory, I sang under Julie Morgan, but Robert Wolferstein and Clyde Tipton were both professors of mine while I was there. So I'm hoping Mr. Tipton will join today. I guess my favorite memory was we did this tour to Houston, which was fantastic. I still remember that.
Wonderful. Kate, do you want to text Jane and see if they need any assistance, technical assistance? Because I talked to her on the phone last night and I thought she had stuff sort of figured out, but I'm not sure.
I will.
Thank
Do
you,
it
ma'am.
anytime.
I appreciate it. Sorry. Kay Newman, if you don't mind.
Hi, I'm Kay Newman. I live in Chapin, South Carolina now. I was from Newnan, Georgia when I came to the university, which was Georgia College part of the time and the Women's College of Georgia part of the time. I graduated in 1967. So my history is that my mother came there as a music major the first year that Dr. Noah came. So she was in his choir for 4 years. And when I came in 1963, I was his first granddaughter. So I was the first student of one of his former students. So that was very special to me. I taught music education. I graduated from there, I said, in 1967, and I taught in schools in Georgia and Alabama and Texas for 35 years. Then moved to Alabama, and now I'm in South Carolina. I think my favorite memories were the tours that we did. We went, Dr. Noah had a certain schedule. We went to New Orleans, then we went to New York City, then we went to Miami, and then we went back to New Orleans. So your freshman year and your senior year, you went the same place, so that he always had some leaders that had been there before. So my favorite one was the very first one because I'd never been on a choir tour before, and it was quite an experience to be in New Orleans, and they let us go in the French Quarter by ourselves as long as we had a senior with us because I was a freshman. And that was a lot of fun, and it was just so much fun to sing in all of those places that I'd never been before.
That's wonderful. It's wonderful. Robin, how about your turn?
Hey, my name is Robin Poole, and I graduated in 2013 with a music ed degree. And I think my favorite memory was conducting the women's choir my senior year.
Was that the Requiem?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought of that the other day, and I think I came across a video online, maybe on Facebook of it, and I was like, yeah, it was fun. All right, how about Susan Lewis? Unmute if you would, Susan. Hang on, we can't hear you, and I don't think I can.
Try
There
now.
we go.
Okay, I'm Susan Lewis. I live in Amory, Mississippi, which is exactly halfway between Memphis and Birmingham. I'm not a music major. I majored in math education. I remember Kay that has already spoken. I graduated from Georgia College in 1968. I think we were the first class that was Georgia College. When we started off was Women's College. I was in Max Noah's choir, then Dr. Wolfenstein's choir. My mother went to college there in Milledgeville, and she was a music major under Dr. Noah. So like Kay, I was one of Dr. Noah's grandchildren. As far as music production, my favorite was the Messiah. Oh, I love it. I love the Messiah. I love the message of the Messiah. I love the music of the Messiah. And we presented it my freshman year, which was Dr. Noah's last year on campus. And we performed it in Milledgeville, and we also performed it in Macon. This was unique in that we had the Mercer University Choir join with our choir plus local people. And on Tuesday evenings, we had choir practice with our choir plus the local people. That was a great experience to do things with another college and the community. That was a great experience. Like Kay, we went to, my first freshman year, we went to Washington, D.C. and New York. We went to another year to New Orleans, another year to Miami. We also went to the World's Fair in Montreal, Canada. That was a great experience singing there. We also did Brahms Requiem with the University of the South in Swanee, Tennessee, with the guys there. So we had just great experience. I love the discipline that was presented in the choir. Besides the music and all of that will always be very special in my life, because you will hear a piece of music and you remember that was a piece that you had in choir. But we had very, very, very strict discipline. While we were on choir tour, when we had choir practice, the doors were locked at a certain hour. When we were on choir tour, you could not buy a Coca-Cola unless you were having it at a meal. No, we did not eat candy and crackers and all of that. When we stopped, apples and oranges were on the bus, and everything was on schedule. Before a concert, you were robed, you were quiet for 30 minutes, and you had a prayer before you were there. I loved being with the people, meeting people from all over everywhere, and it was a great experience to be in the choir.
Wonderful, Susan. Thank you so much. It's such a rich history and such a rich sort of memory of that. That's wonderful. Hong Yue.
Hi, my name is Hong Yue. I'm a math professor at Georgia College. I came here 2012, and I really enjoy singing in choir. I learned a lot. You know, I'm poor with music, but a lot of fun singing here. And I'm very appreciate help from all members, and you know, the girls, they next to me, they always help me with music. Yeah, that's very, very nice experience. Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. Kate, if you want to go, and I will text Jane back. Or if you want me to have someone else go, I can. You're muted. Sorry.
Okay, I'm copying and pasting what you sent. I just sent it. I talked to her on the phone. Okay, I'm Kate Phillips, and I was in the women's chorale with Clyde. I was not in the others. I was an organ major, and singing is not my thing, but I had to be in an ensemble, so I don't have any, I enjoyed it, but I don't have any big experiences. I didn't do any tours, but I still work at Georgia College, and some of you might get emails from me about concerts, because that's my retirement job. I retired from school teaching, and I've been working at Georgia College since 15. And although we don't have concerts, I send out emails to people that want to be on the email list. So if any of you want to, just send it to music@gcsu.edu, and I'll add you to the list, or send you a brochure or whatever. But anyway, I still play the organ. I was an organ major under Wilford Steig. I transferred there in 74 and graduated in 76. That's all.
Thank you so much, Kate.
Thank you.
Claudia, how about you?
Hi, I'm Claudia Del Rosa. So I graduated from GCSU in 2018 for undergrad, and then I completed my master's there as well and finished that in 2019. I live in Alpharetta currently. Did not major in music. I was a Spanish major, and I'm now teaching that. I'm in my second year of teaching middle school Spanish, which is kind of crazy to think about. My favorite memory would definitely be the winter concerts. I always enjoyed that.
Awesome, thank you. How about Patricia Simpson? if you'll unmute. If you're able to, you may have to like tap on the screen and then look for the little microphone icon.
Oh,
There we go. Sorry. One more time.
okay, how's that?
Perfect.
Good. My name is Pat Soller Simpson. I live in Albany, Georgia, and St. Simon's Island. Kay Kitchens Newman, and I finally were roommates our senior year. I was a music ed major, taught 30 years as a music specialist here in Dougherty County. Susan and Kay have hit the high spots, but I would like to say that one of the things that I really appreciated under Dr. Noah, I had Dr. Noah for 2 years and Dr. Wolferstein for 2. And one thing that I always remember, I don't know if it was the most perfect memory, but we would always have to go into Dr. Noah's inner chamber, 2 by 2, just like Noah in the ark, and sing off our music. And if by memory, everything was done by memory. No music was allowed on any concerts. So if you didn't do it just right, we had to do it over. And one thing that I really enjoyed especially was our choir reunions down at St. Simon's and other places at the college. Some of Dr. Noah's reunion group. But it was a pleasure, and I've always been very thankful for the foundation that we received at Georgia College Music Department with Dr. Noah, Dr. Wolferstein, and especially Lucy Underwood. She was a real gem. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Pat. So we just got a couple of new members here. We have Mr. Biddick, and looks like maybe Dot. Yay. And we also have Clyde and probably Jane Tipton on the phone. So welcome to both of y'all. I'm so excited that you're here. We're just going around the room kind of sharing some memories and talking about who we are and that kind of thing. So we'll definitely give you an opportunity to do that as well. Cindy, do you want to go next?
Who was talking to me?
Hey, Clyde, this is Jennifer Flory.
Okay, good, Jennifer Flory.
You are in the right place.
Yeah, no, I understand. Good, thank you.
Absolutely.
I'll just hang on if you want to find somebody else.
That's fine. I will holler at you when we're ready. Thank you so much.
Shall I go? I'm Cindy Bramblett Hill, and I went to Georgia College from 1969 to 1973. I graduated in 1973 with a Bachelor of Music Education. I've taught public school music for 34 years, some of which was in DeKalb County school system and some of which was in Cobb County school system. My professors were wonderful. Martin Biddick, I'm so happy to see you, and I hope you're doing well. And I want to say hello to Dot, too. This is just so exciting for me. This gets my heart. Dr. Wolferstein was the department chairman. Mr. Willoughby was actually the band director there, and he was kind enough to let me play in his band. I had Lucy Underwood for music education. Laura Hillman was my voice teacher. And Maribel Benton was my piano teacher and theory teacher. So it was a wonderful experience. And I think that probably one of my very favorite experiences was the Aeolian Singers and our choir tours and things that we were able to go on. And I want to talk about Aeolian Singers a little bit more in a minute. It was an audition group from the major group that we had on our campus. And, you know, there were many choirs that Mr. Biddick started in our choral group. I did want to share with some of you an experience I had with Dr. Wolferstein. Many of you know him. As you know, before he passed away, his wife was in a terrible accident. She actually ran over herself with an automobile and was in the hospital for many weeks up in North Fulton Regional. so Dr. Wolfersteig, my house was very close to there, and he actually came to live with us for a while. I let him move into my house for about, I guess, 6 weeks. I had a basement apartment, and he stayed down there. It was just a very rough time for him. And I stayed close to him and to Mrs. Wolfersteig for many years, and we would have reunions, and several of us would go see them and check on them as they got older. But back to the Aeolian singers. We have had several reunions of the Aeolian singers, and one took place in September of last year. And we were able to get a wonderful nucleus together and to perform with Dr. Flory's wonderful groups. And it was an incredible experience. And I stood in front of the group and I said, you know, it would be really fantastic if we could do something for a needy, you know, a deserving young person at Georgia College. How many of you would be able, you know, be interested in starting a scholarship program of some kind? And every single hand in the room went up. And before the day was over, we had met a goal that we had set of, you know, trying to reach at least $5,000, and then we wanted to get 10, and then we wanted to get more. So we had been able to start the scholarship group, and I'm sure Bob Preston can tell you more about it. But it is to help a deserving young person at Georgia College who's a music student there, who has particular interest in helping others through their music. So we're thrilled that this happened, and we just think this is a good way to honor Mr. Biddick and to honor the great experiences that we had at Georgia College. So we have this scholarship program now. So that's about all I have to say. I think that's quite enough. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Cindy, and thank you to the Aeolian singers. That was kind of a, you know, we thought, oh, we'll come together and we'll sing together in Max Noah Recital Hall, and we'll have a nice time and sing for each other. And then I remember at the end of the evening before I left, Mary, I think, told me, this is, you know, we're going to set up a scholarship. Can you help us decide, you know, what the criteria should be? We want it to be for people in choir and music majors. And I said, sure, I can help with that. So it's been a wonderful, wonderful time. And we were going to try to have another reunion in person this fall. I had met with Mary in March, the beginning of March, and then everything happened. And so we moved online, but I bet you there are some of you that might not have been able to come in person. So it's wonderful to have you all here virtually. The name of that scholarship is the Aeolian Singers Scholarship. And I think Bob can tell you about it, but basically if you make a donation on the Georgia College Foundation website, you can just do it, you choose other, and then put in Aeolian Singers, and it'll get to the right account. And I can put a link for that in the chat in a little bit. Bob, do you want to tell more about that?
Well, I mean, the reason I'm on this call, I'm not an alum of the music Georgia College or the music program, but I worked with Cindy and Mary Brabson to put this together, and they set a goal of the way the endowment works is we set a goal of $10,000, and once that $10,000 is met, that scholarship will be awarded to a music student. Need-based scholarship will be awarded to a music student forever. And I would say that between Mary and Cindy reaching out to folks, that goal was met pretty quickly. Now the endowment is set up, and also, and I don't think Mary would mind me saying this, is that the way the endowment works is that it takes 3 years for that money to kind of be invested and earn a scholarship. And so Mary has already funded the first year of that already. And you know, the other 2 years will, you know, we're looking to raise money for. So it's been just a joy in helping them do this. And I just wanted to be here in case they reference the scholarship. I just wanted to be able to also thank them and also just be a reference for how this kind of thing works, in case others may want to embark upon the journey of doing that. and not at this meeting, but it's, you can reach out to me at some other point. You can find me in the College of Arts and Sciences office working with the dean.
Thank you so much, Bob. And I put in the chat, I put the link to the
Sure.
where you can go to the website to donate, and you just drop down the menu and say other, and then type in Aeolian Singer Scholarship. And there is also, for those of you especially who mentioned Lucy Underwood, there's a Lucy Underwood Endowed Scholarship as well. And that reached its goal in the spring of 2018. But it's still taking donations. So if you want to make a donation to that in memory of Lucy, that is also wonderful. So, all right, let's keep rolling along here. How about Ms. Bowers?
Martha Vassar Bowers. I was at GSCW in 1947 till 1951. And I'm 90 years old now, but people think I'm 60 because I'm still very sharp and very active. And I married a minister, and we worked in the churches for, I guess it must have been about 69 years. And then we went to Nigeria, West Africa, and I used most of my musical training out there, and of course in every church that my husband pastored. But I'd like to tell one illustration that happened in West Africa. I had a choir, and we were doing a cantata at Christmas, and there was a little 9-year-old boy that had been hearing us practice, and he went down Queen Elizabeth Road to the TV house, and he told the lady in charge of Christian programs, said, "You need to come to my church because my choir sounds like angels and they need to be on television." Well, this was the first television station in all of West Africa. And the lady came the next Sunday, and she wanted to borrow one of the books of the cantata that we were doing. And whenever we finished practicing, she came up to me and wanted to decide on a day when we could do this program on television. Well, after we did it, she wanted us to do a program every week. But of course, all of my people in the choir had jobs, and we couldn't get a program ready every week. And I told her we would do special programs at, Easter and Christmas and various times, but we could not do one every week. But one of my most precious memories of being in the choir, and Max Noah was there, and it was Georgia State College for Women when I was there. And I remember we called him Papa Noah. And
Amen.
Then, is that Gene Tate? He's the only
That's
one in
me.
here that I know.
Yes, sir.
Well, anyway, I knew Maggie Jenkins. She taught me a course in music, and I was a math major. But music was always my hobby, and I taught math 3 years. And then my husband became pastor of a church, and from then on, I used my music more than I did my math. And I never let people know that I was a math teacher, because if they knew it, they wanted me to tutor them in math, and I was too busy doing church work to be a math tutor. But anyway, one of my favorite memories of being at GSCW and being in the choir was Naughty Marietta. We did that one year, and that was one of my favorite things that I remember. And we sang over NBC radio when we went to New York City. And it's so good to see all of you and to hear your stories.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Martha, I got a question for Martha. Weren't you one of Max Noah's prodigies?
I didn't major in music. I majored in math. But I was at every rehearsal. I don't think I was ever sick and missed a rehearsal when I was there those 4 years. And I went on every choir trip, but it was the same places we went to that the rest of you've talked about.
Yep. Okay. Didn't you live in Waycross?
No, I lived in Bowersville, Georgia.
Okay. Okay.
But whenever I was a minister's wife, I lived in many, many places. We started out in Kentucky at the Baptist Theological Seminary, and then we moved to Tennessee, and we were there for about 12 years before we went to the mission field. And we were in Nigeria for 18 years. And then I had to come home to take care of my elderly parents because I was the only daughter. So I've been home a good while, but I've done some choirs and played the piano here in my own home area. And my husband is dead now, and I live alone.
So do I.
Wonderful. Well, Jean, do you want to take it over and go next?
Jennifer, why don't you lead us in Adoramus Te?
Oh, I would love to.
I mean,
However,
geez.
singing over Zoom is not terribly effective.
Okay.
If you give me a few minutes, I could probably find a recording and everybody could sing on mute, but
oh, that would be nice.
Look for one. I'll look for.
Okay, no, I don't have anything else to say. You know, I miss Max Noah and all the other old folks.
Wonderful. All right, how about Jeff Daniel?
Hi. I was at Georgia. I'm a Millersville native and was at Georgia College from 1979 till 1988, floundering around trying to decide what I was going to major in: chemistry, biology, computer science, and music. Finished computer science, and just before finishing computer science, I decided I wanted to be a band director after going to work at the summer camp. So I got a music ed degree after that, became a choral director instead for 10 years in a middle school. And then during about the halfway through my teaching career, I became a church musician as well and did that for 25 years and retired a couple of years ago. But I was there singing with Clyde and Julie Morgan. I think that was it. But being there a long time, I did a lot. Band-wise too, with Jim Willoughby. So it's good to see you all.
Awesome, thanks so much, Jeff. Demetris, are you able to chat?
Yes, I am. Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Hello.
Yes. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Yes. So I actually came to Georgia College actually on the Max Noah Music Scholarship. So I was a recipient of that, and so as a result of that, I was part of the Max Noah Singers Ensemble and also a member of the University Chorus. My major was actually, my first major was initially music vocal performance, and then I changed it and I just completed my minor in it, and then ended up getting my bachelor's degree in public rhetoric from the Arts and Science department. So I was there from 2001 until 2004. My voice instructors were Dr. Chris Henley, Dr. Wendy Mullen. The department at that time was under Dr. Richard Green, and at that time his wife was also one of the accompanists as well. And the course, the university course director, I believe her name was Jennifer Carolyn, I forget her last name.
Caroline Carson.
That's exactly
Caroline
Carson. So she was the director for the ensemble, for this Max Noah Singers Ensemble, and for the University Chorus. We went on tour. I forgot exactly where we went. Can't remember that. Memory that I say one of the great humbling experiences that we had was as the University Chorus and Max Noah Singers, we were able to sing for one of the I believe it was for one of the alumni award receptions, in which the late civil rights leader John Lewis was the guest speaker for that event, and I was under the college president at the time. I think was Dr. DePaulo. I want to say so.
Right.
So, and I recently came across a picture of that singing experience. So, but apart from that, yeah, I had some interesting music times there. Did that, and at the time while I was there, I also joined the music fraternity called Phi Mu Alpha Symphonia Fraternity Incorporated as well. And yeah, that's about it. So I'm sorry you all can't see me. I just got off of work, so I wanted to get into the Zoom at the same time. So
No worries. Thanks so much for joining us.
yes. So it's an honor and a pleasure to meet you all. This is my first time actually attending virtual alumni weekend for the music department. I'll say that. And so I was glad to hear some rich history that some of you all were able to give. So glad to be part of that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank
I'm going
you.
to go now to another person who's in his car, and that's Nitch Stinson. And thank you. I'll let you take it away, Nitch.
Hey y'all, like Dr. Flory said, I'm Nitch. I graduated from Georgia College in 2017, so relatively recently. I graduated with a degree in marketing, but my minor was in music. I spent all 4 years of college very heavily involved in the music department. I was in university chorus, I was in Max Noah Singers, and I have just the fondest memories of college, and 95% of them took place in Max Noah Recital Hall and, at the church up the road. And there's so many things that I could say that I loved about University Chorus and Max Noah. I actually met my future wife there. We actually get married a year from today. Her name is Emily, and to that point, one of my favorite memories, it's kind of funny, at least to us, and I'm a horrible storyteller, so I hope the punchline comes across, but we were actually in Europe. We did an international tour to Budapest and Vienna. We were in Vienna, and we had gone out to dinner. We went and saw a concert, and we got on the train to go back to the hotel. And as we were getting off at some stop, the doors would open and close very quickly. So you had to make sure you got off the train very fast. Well, I made the anti-chivalrous mistake by trying to get off the train first and left Emily on it. And she had no cell service. Her phone had died. And she just had one other person. Her name was Madison, that was in chorus. And they both were on this train. And we were all freaking out. I had to call Dr. Flory and say, hey, everything should be okay, but we left her on the train. We're going to get in touch with her as soon as we can. Of course, she is still alive and well to this day. But yeah, just nothing but the greatest memories from chorus and yeah.
I think I blocked that out. I sort of remember it now that you mentioned it, but the horrible memory I remember from that trip was Ola Yelo's piece at the first concert. It just fell apart.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
It was rough. Something weird happened that had never happened before, and it never happened after that, but I don't think we sang it after that. I was like, nope, we're not doing that.
Nope, we're just not going to do that one. Yeah, absolutely.
Megan was there for that one too. So, Megan, do you want to go next?
Am I just supposed to share? I'm
Yeah. We're just say your name and what year you graduated, what degree you got, and your favorite memory from from being in choir at Georgia College?
Okay, my name is Megan McIninch.
Oh.
I have a bachelor's degree in music education from 2015 and my master's in music education from 2017, I believe. I just, chorus was the best thing. This can make me cry. I have the best memories. I was assistant director for all three ensembles at some point. Women's ensemble was a really great opportunity. Always a great director. And traveled to Europe, New York City, just so many opportunities I wouldn't have had if it wasn't for Dr. Flory and Georgia College and Dr. GM and being able to hone my conducting skills was a really big opportunity that I'm not sure I would have had elsewhere. So it was just a really great experience, and I miss it.
We miss you too, Megan. Do you went to New York in 2014?
Yes.
Do you want to tell the story about the bus on the Brooklyn Bridge?
No.
Since Bradley's not here, because he would normally tell it, but
I think I had fallen asleep actually, and I woke up. Everyone was basically in a panic because I think we were stuck and we couldn't turn around.
Yeah.
That's all I really
Our
remember.
shuttle, our bus driver hadn't checked the clearances for the bridges. And we started onto the Brooklyn Bridge. We didn't actually get onto the Brooklyn Bridge, but we started onto the on-ramp. And he saw the sign with the clearance and he was like, oh, darn. And then he kind of pulled over and there was a policeman there. We had to literally he had to stop traffic for us to go in reverse on the Brooklyn Bridge. One of our more embarrassing moments on a trip. No one was hurt, everyone was fine, but Bradley, who I mentioned before, was literally hiding under his coat in the first seat. And we had a couple of guys on the bus who I went to college with, and they had come to our concert in Staten Island, and we were giving them a ride back to the city. And the bus driver was like, well, do you all know how to get into Manhattan? They're like, we don't have cars. We take public transportation. We don't know how to get there. So we made it. It was just pretty stressful at that moment. But all right, Stephen Stewart I would love to hear from you next. Don't forget to unmute. And I'm sorry to keep you waiting so long. There we go.
Okay. I've enjoyed hearing stories from everyone. I'm a Milledgeville person like Jeff. I born and raised, and I'm still here. I retired from Georgia College after 30 years in the College of Education, teaching there, and have wonderful memories of being in Mr. Biddick's choir and also in Clyde Tipton's choir. I think the best memories I have are making lifelong friends that I keep in touch with still. And also one of the big memories was the living Christmas tree that we did on the front campus that Mr. Biddick had constructed. And I think the citizens of Milledgeville were so glad when it was finally deconstructed probably around Easter the next year, because it stayed up and it was up there too long. But we had a wonderful time preparing the living Christmas tree, all of us up there with our artificial candles and our tinsel. But just being in mixed chorus, and then I was also in Aeolian Singers for a couple of years, was just a very nice thing to be over there instead of Kilpatrick working as a middle grades major. So that's about it.
Wonderful. Thank you, Stephen. Elizabeth Hines, do you want to say something before I get to our past directors? And it's okay if not. I'm going to go in order with our directors in order of when they were at Georgia College, for lack of any other system. So we'll start with Mr. Biddick. And you can tell us whatever you like.
I really don't know what to tell you, that most of which hasn't been said already. The only thing I guess that you don't know is what I've done since I left there. And I've had a pretty good career. I can't complain. Had a lot of experiences. A lot of my career has moved to things other than music. I finally got tired of starving and took on another career and went into real estate and did music on the side. And what I took on the side ended up being probably one of the better choral organizations in our state, because I started the Mississippi Chorus, and I had singers, 120 or so, that were from all around the state, all within a 50-mile radius, really, of band directors, choir directors, people from all over. Many of the symphony players even sang. And anyway, so we had a good group, could do just about anything and did. And then this gave me an opportunity to work with the symphony, and have had the opportunity then to do a lot of symphonic work as well then. And this gave me a real musical opportunity that I wouldn't have had if I hadn't started that group. I directed it for 15 years, finally gave it up to some young blood. I did church music a lot, most of it just volunteer, but I had some pretty good sized programs. When I left, all these churches ended up hiring somebody full-time to replace me. But that's pretty much my musical career. The rest of it was to make a living, and that was in real estate. And I ended up with my own company and did fairly well in that. I also built homes, and now my interest lies in woodworking, and I do a lot of crafts, and have enjoyed that for a long time. Now, the only thing that most of you don't know, but a few of you might, is that here just recently I had a double bypass surgery, which has been quite a little setback. But as you can see, I'm recovering well, and they say I'll be a new man, and I can't imagine that. I may have to start all over again. If you got another spot on the faculty that I can come back and fill. But Georgia College has been a place in my heart that no one could ever remove. Some of the finest kids I've ever known, and I've taught a good bit, and I think about them frequently. And of course, we had some of the same experiences that you've now had. We went to Europe. We've been to probably New Orleans trip was the one trip that I won't go into details as to why it was, but it involved a school in those days that it was pretty much all of a minority race. And when an almost all majority white choir came in, they were slow to accept us. And before it was over with, we were all together singing Aquarius together. And it was quite an experience that sometimes I cry just thinking about it. But no, I've had some outstanding experiences with them. One of the nicest things that happened to me while I was there was Georgia College used to give an outstanding Georgian award. That award one year was going to Robert Shaw. And so I knew well in advance, and the president said, no, we have to have one of the choirs sing while he's here. So that frightened me a little bit, but I said, I need to challenge this. I had a women's chorus that, I won't say they were a minor. The Aeolian singers was, Aeolian meant, of course, major and, minor, the minor chorus, but this group was the minor chorus to all of them. And if you didn't make the big group, you were in the ladies' chorus or the women's chorus. And they were just kind of always felt like they were the stepchild. So I decided I was going to have them sing for Robert Shaw, which lit a fire under them like you wouldn't believe. And they did an absolutely superb job. And I think about that concert or that little program an awful lot because it did mean an awful lot to me. But Georgia College remains one of my highlights of my teaching career, and something that no one could ever take away from me. And I love the campus. I love everything about it. And I just wish I had been able to attend last fall when y'all were having your reunion. But maybe you'll have another one, and I still haven't kicked off, and maybe I'll be able to join you again.
We hope that very much.
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, I'm now a piano tuner. I've been tuning pianos for 15 years, I guess, and I tune I was tuning just about every day before I had this bypass. So I stay pretty busy, and so if I do come, I'll tune a few if you need it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, and you did an alumni choir event. I'm trying to remember what year it was.
It was quite a few years ago, and yes, we did. It wasn't as well attended as I like to have known it. It should have been.
Sure.
But we had several of your students that came and sang with us.
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter and my wife here, Dot, but my daughter came down from Tennessee, who is a pretty fine musician in her own right, and she sang with us. And yeah, that was probably what, 12 years ago, 15 years ago, something like that.
It hasn't been 15 because I've only been there 15, but I think
okay, it's been between 12 and 15.
2007 or 2018. I don't know.
That probably is about right. When you get our age, these years begin to kind of do this way.
Well, thank you so much.
I have enjoyed listening to all these comments, and to I look forward to hopefully getting back to the campus again and do a little reminiscing. That
would be wonderful. And we'll definitely, as soon as we're able to do things more in person, we'll definitely plan another Aeolian Singers reunion. I want to go to Clyde next, but I do want to mention that after Clyde speaks, and if there's not anything else anyone wants to say, I have a quick sort of retrospective slideshow that I'll show at the end. So if you want to stick around for that, that's great. If you have to go, I totally understand. But I'm going to turn things over to Clyde Tipton now. You might have to unmute yourself, Clyde. Clyde, are you still with us? Oh no. I'm not sure. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can text Jane to ask her to unmute. Because we can't hear you, Clyde. In the meantime, I wanted to make sure that I got to everybody. Please flag me if I skipped anyone. I think I got to everyone. I just want to make sure. Because the windows have a tendency to move around.
I think I see here in the chat, Dr. Fleury, that you missed somebody, Patricia Simpson.
I think Pat spoke.
Did she speak? Oh, okay, sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm pretty sure she did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she did, and I think she's left since. All right, I just texted Clyde. I could go ahead and start the slideshow, and then if Clyde comes on, I can pause it for sure. So I don't want to keep y'all waiting here. So give me just a moment here. Yeah, Robin spoke toward the beginning, I think. But definitely let me know if you think I've left anybody else. All right, let me move this. All right, so I had fun with this. I'll apologize to Dr. GM because I kind of ran out of time at the end to put in pictures. So there aren't any pictures of you, Dr. GM, but I'll make it up to you later. So I put this together and I tried to put all the names of all the choirs that at least I was aware of over the past basically 50 years plus. I did that because that goes back to when Mr. Biddick started. But it actually, Max Noah was there for 30 years before that. So, or actually Robert Wolfersteig for 5 and then Max Noah for 30 before that. So 90 years plus. So we've had a lot of different names of the university, as y'all know. Some of y'all have been there at Georgia State College for Women or Women's College of Georgia or Georgia College at Milledgeville or Georgia College and State University. And then we dropped to the ampersand after I got here. And then we just dropped the SU. So we're kind of Georgia College again, brand-wise. We're still officially Georgia College and State University. But this is sort of a retrospective of choral activities. And I have some pictures from some folks or from some times, but I don't have them from a ton. So I wasn't trying to leave anybody out. I just only had what I had. So as most of y'all know, this is Max Noah. And there were a lot of choirs over 30 years, a lot of different named choirs. And he was there for 30 years, so he spanned 2 different names of the university. But it was only female students. And my understanding is that he would get the cadets from Georgia Military College to come over in formation, and they would rehearse, and then they would march back to GMC. And I think his son was one of those students that did that as well. Max Noah's son actually passed away in the summer of 2018. And I had the fortune to attend his funeral and the memorial service, or the reception afterwards, and sing a little bit there, and got to spend some time with his wife and his kids. So anyway, just a little on Max Noah. We'll keep rolling along. Robert Wolfersteig, some of you worked with. He sort of spanned.
By the way, can you hear me?
Yes.
One of the things that a lot of people may not know, and I may be wrong on this, but it's my understanding that Dr. Noah was also the founder of Georgia Music Educators.
Yes, Georgia Music Music Educators Association. Yes, and those archives are actually at Georgia College in our special collections. All of the archives from the beginning of Georgia Music Education Association. And I think at some point there were all state happenings that took place in Milledgeville. I have no idea where, but because I'm not sure where they would have room, or maybe it was a smaller event then, but yeah, that's a wonderful thing to mention. So Robert Wolfersteig was the director of choral activities and I believe department chair. He did do the choirs for 5 years, and then I think probably he had other things to worry about. So he passed the reins then to Mr. Biddick. And Martin Biddick there. I pulled that picture off one of your piano tuning websites, I think. So I hope you don't mind. And speaking of the singing the live Christmas tree, found this picture in this article from 1973. And it's pretty fun. And I'm happy to share this with y'all. I think possibly I can get email addresses from the alumni office and I can have them send you these slides if you want, so you can look at it on your own as well. But it's pretty fun. And then Governor Jimmy Carter presents to Martin Biddick a proclamation declaring the singing group's ambassadors from the state of Georgia to the cities of Amsterdam, Paris, and London. This was really cool. This was also from 1973, and I think actually this precedes the singing Christmas tree, but I wasn't totally sure. So, but pretty exciting, and I know some of y'all went on that trip, so I'm sure hopefully this brings back some memories. And then Clyde was director of choral activities from 1974 to 1991, and you can see he continued some of the groups and also added something new. In the 80s and early 90s, there was the sort of swing or show choir kind of idea, and that was good for Clyde. And there's a picture early on of Clyde with the vocal groups. It said that they toured New York and Washington, D.C. And this was the Aeolians. And then Clyde also directed the women's ensemble. Julie Morgan, as Stephen sang with her, and I talked to Julie, emailed back and forth with her. She wasn't able to come, but she appreciated the invitation and everything. And this is the only picture I could find, and this is from 1988. And I don't know how long she did direct choirs. I know she was at Georgia College for a while, but I had a little trouble finding sort of definitive records. So there's Julie. Chris Henley was at Georgia College up to 2007, but he was director of choral activities from 1991 until 2001, so 10 years. And Chris continued the concert choir and did a show choir, which was very big at the time, a mixed chorus, university singers, women's ensemble, and he actually started what was the new Max Noah Singers. And this is where we have our group, Max Noah Singers. That's where we have our name from. And this is a picture of the show choir, I think in DC, looks like. And Robin, if you're still here, that is Charles Hernandez up top with hair. Robin's high school choir director was Charles Hernandez, one of our alums. And yeah, so he was in that show choir. Caroline Carson, as one of y'all mentioned, was the interim director from 2001 to 2002. And she basically directed what I directed for a number of years, our three sort of traditional choral ensembles. Caroline is now an Episcopal priest in New Jersey. And she also appreciated being invited, but she wasn't able to join us tonight. Oh, I have no idea. Does anyone know if we still have the show choir uniforms anywhere? I would doubt it. I don't think we have them on campus, but I guess it's entirely possible someone might still have their own. I don't know. And then Carlton. Carlton came in 2002 and was here for a couple years. And Carlton, did you do women's ensemble both years you were here, or just a year? Because I know it wasn't, or maybe Lauren got rid of it, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I did all three of those ensembles for both years.
Okay, perfect. So I think at some point after you left, before I came, women's ensemble kind of went away. And it took me, I think I did it sort of as a part of University Chorus my first year in the spring, and then the following year I started teaching it again because it helped balance up University Chorus a little bit more. And I couldn't find any pictures actually, Carlton, of you with the choir, so forgive me. The colonnade records don't cover the 90s and 2000s very well.
I have some I can send you actually.
Oh, that would be wonderful. That would be wonderful. And then Lauren Ringwald was the interim director of choral activities the year before I came. And she directed Max Noah Singers and University Chorus. And I believe she's doing part-time choir stuff up at University of North Georgia, which is, I guess, it's North Georgia. It's technically North Georgia College and State University, like we have, but with the North in front. But they go by University of North Georgia now. And then I found my first faculty photo. Yeah, a little bit different. 2005 is when I came, and I didn't put all the different names that Georgia colleges had, because technically our name is still Georgia College State University. All right, so that was when I hit it big. That was my claim to fame. I don't know if that was the first year or the second year. And unfortunately, I don't think we have any alums that were in that video that year, but iPods were all the rage when I came to Georgia College. They gave all new faculty an iPod, and they were the old boxy ones, but I got one and actually applied for an iPod project for Max Noah Singers to all be assigned iPods for the semester. So it worked well at the time, and we kind of didn't need to use it after a couple of years, but it was a neat project. This is a picture from our first concert, my first concert with Georgia College. Trying to remember the name of it. We just did an opera concert this past month that was Gems of Stage and Screen, and this one I think was an evening of opera or something like that. But that's University Chorus. And we do our concerts at First Baptist Church in Milledgeville, which is just a couple blocks from campus. And this is Max Noah Singers from, give me a minute here. Actually, that may be University Chorus. That may have been a smaller bunch. And that was from 2010, I believe. And then there's one from 2015. And there are tons of these pictures on Facebook, but I didn't want to fill up a bunch of stuff, and I didn't have as many for some of the other directors. So as I mentioned, Dr. Dana Gorzolini-Mostak has been directing women's ensembles since 2016, with the exception of one semester when she directed Max Noah Singers when I was on professional leave. Stephen Hutchings really was the first director of the Cat's Meow, which was our a cappella group. And he did that as a graduate student. And then after he finished his Master of Music Ed, he did that for 4 years. And then Amanda Boundy was director of the Cat's Meow last year. Unfortunately, with COVID, we had to suspend the Cat's Meow and not offer it this year. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to bring it back next year. But I'm wondering if maybe Clyde has figured out maybe how to unmute, or maybe he's not here anymore. I'm so sorry to those of you that were hoping to talk to Clyde. Next time I may have to figure out another way to get him in, but But I so appreciate everybody's time and wonderful memories. And I hope you all have a wonderful evening. And I'll stick around if anyone wants to chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate you doing this.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, Cindy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hong. Appreciate it. We'll
Been
see
so
you later.
good.
So much. Yeah.
Been so good to be with you. And
Absolutely.
I haven't been to a reunion in many, many, many years, but it's been good to be a part of this one because I don't drive that far anymore.
Well, we so appreciate you coming. Have a wonderful evening and a great weekend.
Thank you. Same to you.
Thank you.
Appreciate all you do for the college and for the music department.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, but y'all have a wonderful weekend.